I have been watching the other diamonds who've gone before me, and it's really kind of humbling to be in that group. They're so amazing and they're so wonderful, but I'm here for it. So I'm just here to serve, and I'm here to tell you about what I know how to do, and that is enroll people. And that whole lamppost thing, that's hilarious. Okay, so after I spoke at Diamond Band, word started going around, and like, my phone is getting blown up. I hear you can roll anybody, and not anybody. Anybody is a stretch. And so I don't want you to come here thinking that I'm going to teach you how to enroll absolutely anybody. And we'll tell you about that more later. But I can help you get better at enrolling, and I can help you to be a confident enroller, which is what you want to be, right? And a competent enroller. And I can help you not be afraid of any of this, and to walk into it with your eyes open and with awareness, knowing that you can do a good job at this. Because, all right, so I'm going to get to that in a minute. Let's start with a story. This is my favorite story because there is so much goodness in this story. And it happened in 2015 when I was, you guys are so funny. And I love seeing your faces, by the way. I really do better when I see your faces, because then I can see your responses and I know where I need to go and not go. So show me your faces. Thank you very much, if you can. All right, so I was in an Uber car in 2015, and I was a silver at the Young Living Convention, and I had just learned a new close from Marcella von Harding. And I had like 30 seconds left in the ride, and we're rounding the corner, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to try this new close from Marcella. So I will tell you the close in a minute, but can I just tell you what I said there was, I just heard Marcella von Harding speak, and I just picked up a new trick. Congratulations, you guys, for showing up. Leaders show up. And why do you show up? Even if you think you know, even if you think you've heard it all, even if you've heard this person speak before. Why? Because every once in a while, something amazing comes out of somebody's mouth. Marcella was saying something to me the other day, and I said, just a minute, and I'm taking notes. She said, well, I wasn't teaching. I said, Marcella, you're always teaching. And I'm always learning. I am a voracious collector of how to do things. And that's what I want you to be. So anyway, here we are in the Uber car, okay? And I sensed the time is right. And I decided to close them. So I said, I believe that the chemicals in our world are causing a lot of problems, more harm than good. And I believe that natural products work better and cost less than most of the things that you can get at the corner store. And I believe if the tree in the garden turns brown, you don't paint the leaves green and tack them back up. You do something to help the tree. And if you believe what I believe, you belong on my team. And that man let go of the wheel like a preacher, and he said, I believe. And that is how I enrolled my first Uber driver. Friends, the number one thing I hear people say is, well, Lori, I'm out of people. I've enrolled the 4 people that I know, and there's nobody else. Woo! And I'm thinking, people are everywhere. I mean, I am not the baddest enroller there is. There are so many people who enroll more than me. There are people who are killing it on social media. I probably have 50 posts. I don't know, like on Instagram. I'm learning, I'm getting there. I'm currently looking for ways to learn social media more. But what I'm telling you is you don't have to do that. I think it's awesome if you want to, but people are literally everywhere. This is how you squeeze Young Living into the cracks of time. And I'll tell you what, if you stop enrolling in your business stops. Any problem that you have in your business, just about, can be handled with enrolling, right? You got kind of a negative team, enroll some positive people. You got people not working, enroll some hot shots. There's no fire, bring the fire. Start enrolling some people. Oh, friends, don't get into management mode. It will be the death knell of your business. So where are these people? If you increase your skill set, you will improve your all of your life, all of your life. After doing a lot of training on sales skills in my past, so I used to be a trainer and a consultant, and I traveled around the world and I taught Fortune 50 companies and I taught sales and customer service. So this is some good stuff. Listen up. What I believe to be true, and there is no science behind it, it's just in my head, but I am convinced of it, is that what we're looking at is Archimedes' lever. Okay. So Archimedes said, if you give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, I can lift the world. I believe that nearly anybody can be enrolled if the lever is long enough. What is the lever? The lever is time and skill set. Time and skill set. So some people are going to run out of time, right? Because they need a big lever, like a really big lever. I believe we're looking at a bell curve. You remember back in math, we talked about the bell curve. You got a couple standard deviations over here and a couple standard deviations over here, and you got 68% in the middle. Okay. So what you look over here, 2 standard deviations, full of people who think they are married to their diagnoses. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They just really want somebody to feel sorry for them. It's moaning and groaning all the time. They have 15, 20, 30 things that they take on a regular basis. But you know what they really think about essential oils after doing a quick Google search? They think that they're dangerous and they really ought to be double-blind placebo tested before they should be sold. That's what they think. Those are not the people that you are going to close in the Uber car. See? So like that's where a lot of us spend our time, though. I might even say waste our time. Have you ever found that you were banging your head against the brick wall and it wasn't going anywhere? And the only thing that's happening is you're getting bloody. You're getting bloody, but is the brick wall moving? No, but sometimes those are the people you love the most. Oh, sister. I just got off the phone with some relatives very close to me. Okay. And so the only thing you're selling to those people is, have you ever seen the movie Stink? So what you're selling to people is just the next level of awareness, just this much higher than they were currently at. And you're touching lightly, several different touches, and you're living your life in front of them, and you're hoping that eventually they will be willing to increase their awareness. Okay. Now, you have the other couple of standard deviations over here. These are the people who, God bless them, they have been researching. They have been pinning oils and recipes. They have been looking for somebody to link arms with. And you're there. Isn't it amazing when you find those people like, oh, you do oils? I've been looking for somebody who did oils. I've been thinking about that. Can I get oils from you? Well, if you want to, sure. Happy to. Those standard deviations in the middle, the 68% in the middle, those are the people where we find out who the salesmen are. Those are the people who can be nudged if we have the time and the skill set to do it. And so can you see that you are in sales? Oh, that's the elephant in the room. We need to talk about this elephant in the room. I don't want to be in sales. Oh, but Lori, I don't want to be in sales. Sales is icky. Sales is smarmy. I don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. Do you think I'm being that person? I'm not being that person. Listen, icky salesmen are that person. But if you will increase your skill set, you're not that person. True sales is service, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let me just convince you that you are in sales 24/7, all day, every day. You are selling. If you have ever tried to convince your husband to do the laundry while you were gone, you are in sales. If you have ever tried to convince or shed light, let me use some conscious language, shed some light regarding the awareness of the benefits of doing the dishes to a teenager whose day it isn't, you are in sales. If you have ever tried to help your mother see the value of going to a chiropractor, you are in sales. 724. Sales is the number one skill that will improve every area of your life. And if you learn how to do it well, and that is what I'm here for, to help you learn how to do it well, you will improve every single area of your life. I'm watching all these comments. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back. So save your questions for the end, because I'm all in for answering these questions. Okay. The first thing to do is to get to know people. And I'm just going to actually, let me back up for a minute. I really want to talk about the mindset here. What you have decided will come to fruition. If you have decided that you couldn't sell munitions to a city under siege, then that is what you will get. If you have decided that you can talk to anybody and help walk them right into a kit, depending upon the timing and their awareness and all of that, then that is what you will get. Do you know what stops a lot of us? Put it down there in the comments. What stops you from selling something? And I'm gonna swerve here while you're writing those comments. I hear a lot of people say, the problem with Young Living is people aren't sharing. Nobody's sharing. People aren't sharing. And I disagree. I think most people at Young Living are sharing. If you go to any church on a Sunday morning and you start rubbing your head and you're all like, oh, I didn't sleep well last night, I've got a little bit of a headache, what happens? 15 women reach into their purse and whip out essential oils and commence the anointing, don't they? Why aren't they enrolling people then? If we're sharing, share, why aren't we enrolling people? It's the skill set. I don't think we're closing. I don't think we have the awareness to close. I think we think that people are just supposed to chase us down and ask us for the link. That's the other thing I hear. Oh, but Lori, I shared, and then they went and enrolled with somebody else. Guys, we don't actually own people, do we? Do we? No, we don't own people. What happens is people aren't closing, and then they're going to go to a vendor event with Lori Borre, and Lori Borre is going to close them. Ow. And you're going to say, hey, you enrolled my person. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't know they were your person. I don't think they knew that they were your person, because I asked. Okay. If you want them with you, then you need to close. All right. Negative thoughts are stopping people. Self-confidence. Me, I'm the mountain. Yes, Crystal. Our mindset, negative inner dialogue. Stinking thinking, myself. Yes. Absolutely. Fear. Somebody said fear of what other people think. Yes. Let me ask you a question. If somebody is drowning, are you going to send them a life raft? Whoops, sorry. I keep my phone on because my 92-year-old mother might call me at any time and say she's fallen. Are you going to send them a life raft? Are you going to think to yourself, well, I don't know, I don't want to be that person? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to send the life raft. Why? Because they need it. The sin of the desert, write this down. The sin of the desert is knowing where the water is. Yellows, can we have an intervention? Sweet yellows. I'm a yellow. I am. I'm a yellow. There are people praying right now. They're legit praying. They're on their knees, begging God for an answer. Oh Lord, everything is wrong. My kids can't focus in school, and my husband and I are arguing, and he's being such a jerk. And the water heater went out, and I don't have any money, and I can't afford it to fill up the gas tank. It's just terrible. And you don't want to say something because you don't want to be that person. Get this through your head and write it down. You don't need them. They need you. I got my oils. I don't care. I don't care if you get oils or not. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I do for you, but I don't for me. Because what does Mary say? If this horse doesn't want water, you go get the next horse. But stopping yourself from saying something because you don't want to be that person. Oh, it is all in there. Oh, they might think that I'm trying to get money off of them, that I'm trying to scam them. Why would they think that? Is that what you think? Oh, ow. Was it too soon to rip the Band-Aid? That's not what people think. Yeah, fear of rejection, self-confidence. So I'm going to suggest that we have an answer for that. We have a special little thing called essential oils, and you can use those to build your confidence. You really can. And you can do some power posing, and you can talk to yourself with some affirmations about how they need you, and you are serving the world. And listen, service and money go together. You cannot separate them. He who serves the most people earns the most money in general. Eventually, it all evens out. And so if you are chasing the money, people are going to be on to you. They'll figure it out, and then they're not going to trust you. I'm feeling the need to go ahead and say, if you're chasing the money and you're going to another company because they have a really whiz-bang compensation plan, and you're just all, the compensation plan, yeah, the products is okay, but the compensation plan, I'm making so much money. Really? You think you can hide? You can't hide. People are on to you. If not now, eventually. Integrity matters. Chase the service, friends. Chase it. You know, I was listening to Earl Nightingale this morning, and he was talking about when you have a passion in your life, it wakes you up in the morning and it puts you to bed at night. And this is this thing that Marcella was telling me that I was taking notes on. Warren Buffett is interviewed with somebody, and they asked him, how are you always so good at predicting which businesses are going to thrive? And do you know what he said? He interviews the people, and the people who are in it for the money, he takes a pass on. It's the people who are in it for the passion. And I'm not saying that money is bad, money is good, and Lord, bring me more, because that is more influence and I can do more with it and I can serve more people with it. Turns around like that. I'm talking about when you're willing to do things that aren't serving the people that you are enrolling because you're chasing the money. That's what I'm talking about. When you're willing to lie about your old company and blah, 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 blah. So chances are good none of those people are going to say it. I swerved kind of hard, but I'm back. Service is sales, guys. Get it in your head and the fear leaves you. The fear leaves you. Okay. Now, where was I? Yeah. So we're going to learn how to enroll some people. Okay. First thing is, everybody wants the magical clothes. Everybody says, oh, Lori, what is the magical clothes that you use? Tell me the clothes that works 100% of the time. And I'm like, that's not a thing. The other thing people say is, Lori, should I lead with a business or should I lead with a product? I'm like, lead with a relationship. When you will get to know people just for the love of getting to know people, just because it's neat to get to know people, then they will tell you everything you need to know. There are 4 steps. You get around the people. You find out the need, you fill the need, you close the deal. You get around the people, find the need, close the need, or fill the need, close the deal. Get around the people. Friends, if you're holed up in your house and you're not in social media and you refuse to go anywhere and you're not talking to anybody, I don't know what to say. But this is how you squeeze it in the cracks of time. Are you going to the park anyway with your kids? Pick up a mom at the park. Are you going to the post office? Pick up the post office lady. Are you going in an Uber car? Pick up the Uber car. Do you have people coming into your house who are workers or whatever? Pick them up, you know? Everybody needs oils. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. We all have to do it together, don't we? So how do you do it? All right, get around the people. Can you talk to and meet people anywhere? Yes. Are you going to close them on the spot? No. What are you closing them on? Hey, let's be friends. Hey, let's follow each other on Insta. Whatever it is. Yeah, I just make eye contact with people everywhere. If you make eye contact with people and you smile, you'd be amazed how people will talk to you. My husband says to me every once in a while, did that lady at the horticultural center just open up about her hysterectomy and her entire life story and her marriage? Like, yep. How do you do that? Well, I'm here to teach you how to do that. Okay. So number 2, find the need. The close has to do with what they say. And so you've got to ask questions. Ask questions. Now, I've heard people teach about form and forward, and those are good techniques. So that means you're asking questions about their family, their occupation, their recreation, and I like dreams. Forward. I like asking people about their dreams. I think that brings a lot of business opportunity to the forefront so that I can serve them and walk them into the business opportunity. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Now think of this as playing catch. Okay. So if you're asking a question, you throw the ball to your new friend, your prospect. And when they ask a question, they're throwing the ball to you. Write this part down. This is really important. Are you ready? Thank you, Jordan. He who asks the questions controls the conversation. And all the reds just sat up and took notice. Hey, reds, you got to do it their way, not your way. It's all good. But I appreciate your effort. He who asks the questions controls the conversation. Now, you don't want to just pepper people. You actually have to care, right? So you catch the ball by responding to what they said, and then you throw them another question. Let me give you another couple of ideas, and then I will demonstrate, okay? The next one is to double click. Imagine that you're on a website, and you're just looking around with your mouse and you see something you want to know more about. Double click. And one great way to double click is to say, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Ooh, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Here's another one. And these are all in my book, by the way, that is coming out soon. We're getting there. Just repeat the last 3 words that they've said. I love this one. And I think I have this visual in my mind of everybody showing up at convention, and the whole of Young Living is walking around just repeating the last 3 words everybody else said. How does that work, you say? I was talking to Bethany Shipley, and she said, okay, tell me about that. I said, just repeat the last 3 words. And she said, oh, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, tell me something you're passionate about. And she said, well, I've got kids. And I said, you've got kids? And she went, whoa. You see how unweird that is? You've got kids? And it just says, keep talking. People love to talk. Most salesmen just talk too much. The more you talk, sometimes the more you talk yourself out of the sale. But what happens is you get all nervous, and I know because I've done this. You get all nervous and you're just like, the silence is killing me. And so you just start spitting out everything you know and blah, 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 blah. And then you have talker's remorse and a hangover the next day. You want to be the most popular person at a party? Just show up and keep repeating the last 3 words anybody says. And they will think you are a genius. Okay, so that's another idea. Yes. Oh, I like that. You need to learn how to listen, not just hear. Yes. Okay, so let's go back to the Uber car. So suppose you're at a convention and you get in the Uber car, okay? And you're all ready with a question, but they get in there first. And they say, so are you in town for convention? Do you know what a lot of brand partners do? They say, I am in town for convention, and this is a really neat town. And, we have the biggest convention, and then we've got the seed to seal, and we've got the sourcing science and standards, and we've got the non-compliant. I wasn't a believer before, but I am now. You just wouldn't believe all the things these special little oils can do. And here's my business card and a sample. Oh. And the poor forlorn Uber driver is stacking up the business cards in the ashtray. Poor brand partner thinks that the Uber driver is going to call her back. Let's do it this way. Sometimes they get in first and they throw you the ball. Hey, are you in town for convention? Catch the ball. I am in town for convention. How long have you been driving for Uber? You see, there's no pause in there. I catch it, turn it right around. How long have you been driving for Uber? Oh, did you grow up here? No. Why do you do it? Tell me more about that, because not everybody drives for Uber. There's obviously a reason. Oh, you've got dreams. You've got kids. Doing what you're doing, how long is it going to take you to get to those dreams? Do you see how I am going to walk that person right into a kid? Maybe. At least I will know everything I need to know in order to take the next step. What is the next step? I don't know. People are different. It might be a sample. It might be an invitation to a class. It might be, I'm going to call you with the answer to that question you just asked. It might be, hey, if I sent you a videotape, would you watch it? Who knows? It depends on where they go. People are all unique, aren't they? But if you will just get really super good at asking questions, you will know. Oh, thank you for saying I'm a pro. You know what I want to tell you, though? It's only because of my awareness. It wakes me up in the morning thinking about it, and it puts me to bed at night. And if you will get passionate about learning about other people, it doesn't take long to increase your skill set. Like tomorrow, you can practice this on your kids, on your spouse. No, who said I'm too quiet? You're not too quiet. Ask questions. And maybe we need some mindset discussion there. Ask questions. Okay. In fact, introverts are the best at asking questions. You want to know how to get over being afraid of the no? Get yourself a vendor table somewhere. Seriously, spend $25 and go to the fish fry in your local 900-person town and set up a table. Don't expect that you're going to flip a bunch of kids. Don't expect that you're going to enroll a whole bunch of people. Your job is to get unafraid of the no. Greens, I am talking to you. Greens, my precious greens. I know you want to search for ultimate truth. Guess what? There is truth here in Young Living. There really is. But don't wait until you know everything. Pamela Hunter, who knows a lot of stuff, she doesn't know everything. If you wait until you know everything, you're going to be one foot in the grave. Oh, greens. Get yourself a vendor table. In fact, introverts, you do that, because introverts typically do really well at a vendor table. And that seems counterintuitive, but the reason it is so is because they know that the people who are walking up want to talk to them. So they're okay with it, right? They may not be okay talking to an Uber driver yet. They're currently looking for ways to be comfortable talking to all kinds of different people. Okay, now where was I? Okay, so you find out everything you need to know. Buying signals. I need, I like, I want. I learned that from Karen Malone. Man, is she good. She's amazing, and her passion is just, what's the word I'm looking for? Infectious. They say, I need, I like, I want, or they ask a question like, oh, do you do oils? Why, yes, I do. Okay. It's time to close them on something. It may not be the kit. It may be, let's exchange information and set up a phone call. But whatever it is, it's time to close. Okay. I know, right? She is the nature queen. I'm saying she's awesome. All right. There are many, many, many closes. And like I said, everybody wants the genius one close. You can close like Eric Worre, you can close like Danny Johnson, you can close like Marcella, you can close like, oh, there's so many closes. And I've got a bunch of them in there. And right now, the FOMO close. See, FOMO isn't a manipulation if it's done right. FOMO is I've got your back. FOMO is, oh my stars, there's a sale right now, 30% off, or the raindrop kit is in right now. Get it. Don't stutter step. You'll be sad. It's a got your back. You see how it really is service. Okay. But let me help you just get over the fear of it. What I want to do is demystify this for you. So back when I was a trainer and a consultant, there was a company, Thompson Consumer Electronics. Anybody know who they were? They're RCA. They're, like the Victrola and the dog listening. And they had a call center, and it is so long ago. I'm almost embarrassed to admit it. They had a 400 or 500 person call center in Tennessee. And the job of the reps was to answer the question, the burning question in everybody's mind. How do I program a VCR? That many people taking phone calls, teaching people how to program the VCR. Now, in fairness to them, I don't know how to program a VCR either. So there it is. And they decided that the center was costing them too much money. They were a cost center. They wanted to turn it into a profit center. So they hired me to come in and teach all 400 or 500 people how to sell something. And what they decided to sell was service agreements. Do you remember those? The service agreements, where you pay an extra $15. And if anything ever goes wrong with that machine, they will fix it for free. Okay. So we ran everybody through the training, and I had really high hopes. I really high hopes. They had one guy who was selling 80% of the service agreements. One guy. His name was Bob. Legit, his name was Bob. And Bob was just selling them off the shelf. And so I said, I got to listen to Bob's amazing technique. See what Bob does. So I got on the phone call to listen, remotely. And Bob would answer the people's question. He would serve them. And then at the end of the call, Bob would say, so have you ever heard of a service agreement where we repair the machine no matter what for the next 2 years? People would say, yeah. And he would say, I just got to make sure, I'm going to click through, make sure everybody's sitting down for this amazing close. All right, you ready? Bob would say, want one? Want one? More like that. Want one? I'm like, you're kidding me. You're totally kidding me. You know what the rest of the reps were doing? They wouldn't ask. Do you know why? Because they didn't want to be that person. Guys, you're not responsible for spending other people's money or not spending their money. Don't spend people's money for them. Don't put your paradigms onto them. Just ask. You want some? And now that we don't have to do that whole little tap dance where we get people into a basic kit, plus the stress away, which you're going to love, trust me on that one, and a couple of bottles of this, that, and the other thing, and you can have your peppermint and your Valor too. Now that we don't have to do that tap dance, this is so falling off the log simple. You got your Valor out. You anoint your kid before the football game. Your kid makes all the tackles. The woman next to you says, that's some amazing stuff. And you say, yeah, smell it. And she says, that smells good. Yeah. What's next? What's next? Everybody say it. What song? Yes. You want one? Yes. I'd be happy to send you a link. Do you see the confidence there? Oh, that'd be really great if you would sign up with me because, I've been doing this for a while and nobody's signing up for me and I'm feeling kind of discouraged about the whole thing. Don't do that. Don't be the pity sale. Don't do it. Pity sales don't usually work out. I've seen people try that in churches usually. I'm just trying so hard to serve my family and I just don't have any money and would you want to buy some oils from me? Like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Want some? Sure, I'd be happy to send you a link. See? And then you get them in your systems and you educate, and you make oily believers out of them. Yes. Oh, you guys. I taught this somewhere and a star sent a client star to me, sent me a message, and she said, oh my gosh, Lori, it works. She said, I went to church the next day and I enrolled 2 people that I have been working on for 3 years. Just ask, guys. That's it. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just ask. Want some? I had a guy on my team who would teach a class, and at the end of it, he would say, so, you in? Want one? Okay. Friends, every single one of you can do this. If you will just decide, because if you've decided that you're no good at enrolling people and you're just going to let everybody else on your team enroll people because you've enrolled your 4 people and now it's their turn. If you will just decide, what does deciding look like? Deciding looks like binge watching YouTube videos on success. So deciding looks like binge watching sales techniques. Deciding looks like practicing on every person that you meet. If you're not used to it, just learn to smile and make eye contact with people. Just nod and smile at them. Hi. Hi. Just get that far. Wherever you're at, improve your skill set with the intention of serving everybody. Friends, there is so much room at this table. There is so much room at this table. There's room for everybody who comes to serve. Everybody. That's why you don't have to worry about competition. Your people are marked out for you. They're waiting for you to say something. Valor up, Buttercup, and let's do it. All right, I've talked for 45 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Lord Borre podcast. I just snort laughed on a recorded video. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Like, you want some? Not now. Okay. And sometimes I will ask another question.
Mhm.
Okay. So much of this depends upon how much you have it in the bank with that person. You want to be like me. Aim higher, Deborah. Aim higher. If you have it in the bank with them, you can say, what's going on? But normally they will offer you something. Normally they will say why they don't want to do it. And then we're into handling objections, which is a whole separate conversation. But I can give you a couple. Let me give you one technique for handling objections. And this technique is for everything, but it specifically comes in handy with objection handling. Okay. If you will go to school on people and their body language and their voice tone and their mannerisms, and if you will mirror that, people like people, or people buy from people who are like they are. And that will up your game even further. And again, it's not a manipulation. It's just making yourself likable. A lot of people do this in everyday conversation, whether they're trying to sell something or not, especially empathic people. They just do it. So somebody starts playing with their hair, you'll see the empathic person start playing with their hair. Somebody says, I don't know. I mean, it's $165. You can say, I know it seems like a lot, but I have saved thousands just because I had this little kit. And you know, there's a money back guarantee. Now, I just spilled my money back guarantee. I give a money back guarantee. And I got this from Marcella. If you take these home and you break open these bottles and you anoint yourself and you anoint your family, you anoint your friends, I don't care if you anoint your neighborhood, I don't care if you drink them. If at the end of 30 days, you think that these don't actually do anything, they don't actually work, then give me my empty bottles back, you give me my diffuser back, and I'll cut you a check for every dime you spent, including tax and shipping. And nobody has ever come back and said, yeah, you're right, these don't work. It's never happened. So, but do you see how I just, well, because if I all read on this person, well, I tell you what you're going to do. Why are you worried about that? You got poverty mentality, sister. But if you're talking to a red who says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, you say, well, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to take this kid home. You're going to plug in that diffuser, have the best night's sleep of your life. Because if you on that person, oh, they just want to shake you off. Okay. How do you make connections on social media? That's a whole separate conversation, and I recommend you find a social media rock star. I know that the closing is very much the same in the micro work and macro work. Okay, let's talk about micro work. So I have enrolled someone on social media, and it's the micro work. Macro work is when you are building the world's best class on essential oils and exercise. And you're doing the research and you're getting it all together. That's the macro work. The micro work is the mono a mono, man to man, you and me. That's the stuff that'll light you on fire. It's so much fun. Anybody do Girl Scout cookies back in the day? Man, I loved it. I tell that woman, oh yeah, lady. You know, those do-si-dos freeze. She's checking boxes. And my little 8-year-old self was just on top of the world. Micro work. Why don't people do micro work? Micro work is risky. You have to put yourself out there. Nobody's judging you when you're building your course. But people get all in their head when they're doing the micro work. Should I say something? Should I not say something? When should I say something? Listen, every single day, I evaluate whether I did a good job with saying something or not. I make all kinds of mistakes, all kinds of mistakes. Why am I still successful? Because there's so many people that I'm working with that it doesn't matter that I made those mistakes. Sometimes I got it right. Okay, so micro work is the conversions. Now somebody said not spending people's money for them. I make recommendations. They spend their money. Sometimes I ask, is there a budget? You know, if they're really asking my opinion about something, I say, I'm happy to put together some recommendations. Are you working with a budget for your wife's birthday? Or is it just, you know, anything I say? Well, probably not that. Okay, give me a budget and I would be thrilled to put together some recommendations for you. Not on loyalty rewards. Okay, so I met a woman at the IKEA and 2 days later, I enrolled her with an $850, 650 PV order on loyalty rewards. And this was recent. So I just say that this is just a program that pays you back 10%. If you don't want it, if you don't want anything next month, no harm, no foul, we'll cancel it. But you might as well, I mean, there's money sitting on the table. Why are you going to leave it there? Just go ahead and tick the box. And they usually do. But there may be other people who have even a better answer to that than I have. And so that's why you show up here, because you never know. Guys, be a collector of ideas. Best way to support your brand partners with their growth? Well, that's probably a long conversation. Help get them into systems so that you are not having to spend an hour on the phone every day with each of them. Help them get into systems. What makes you approach a stranger at a store? How do you start that conversation? Well, with the woman at the IKEA, she started it with me. Again, I just smile and nod and make eye contact if I happen to make eye contact with people. And then we were in the food area, and she was like 2 rows over, and she says to me, "You get in the kitchen?" I said, "I am in the kitchen. You get in the kitchen?" And that was the beginning of it. So we started chatting, and then she came over and sat with me. And she is the sweetest woman. And before we knew what was what, she was telling me all about her health and her husband's health and her granddaughter and all kinds of things. And so we met a couple of days after that. See, for everybody, no, but for some people, yes.
I have a question.
The next level of awareness. Yes. Oh, my stars.
I have a question. So when you started doing this, were you like many of us at this time? Because we started doing this around the same time. Did you make life changes with Young Living that made you so confident that you just wanted to share those life changes, and other people around you noticed your life changes, so it became pretty easy to talk about?
That is very common. Is it? What a good question. And I'm honored that you're asking me a question, Pamela.
Stop. We're in this together, yes. Right?
My personal changes were not rocket science. They were not over the top. And so that's another thing I think that stops people. Well, I don't have any stories. Listen, if you don't have any stories, you can use enough oil or Ningxia. And I ignored Ningxia for the first couple of years because I thought, never mind. And now I have a whole bunch of Ningxia stories. But no, I'll tell you what I did have going for me is that I had been looking into other modalities of natural wellness for many, many years. And so when I found oils, people understood that I knew I had some credibility. So I had that going for me. But I'll tell you what I used, because I didn't have my own stories. I used everybody else's stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
would rip those
so did
stories
I.
off from everybody.
Yeah, I use Sherry Ross's stories and a ton of different leaders' stories because my stories were my kids, right? And so nobody could see my kids when I'm walking around, right? They were looking at me. But then I will say years later, so after I'd already gotten to a pretty good rank, I made a massive life change, really doing the lifestyle of Young Living, like really putting it into action. And it was pretty drastic. And so when I look around on this call and I'm watching the energy and I'm watching the people in the on the call, I'm like, what life change? This would be my question for everyone with us speaking together tonight. If I could like wrap this into a pretty
Please
bow,
do.
it would be what shift, what change are you desiring in your life to make that you need to be motivated with using our products that would make a huge change that you could then grab the confidence to share with many others that would also like to make that change in their life? Does that make sense? What change? I'm going to repeat it because it's a big one. And this was presented to me by someone years ago. And I put it into action and it made a huge change for me. So, what change in your life, or I like to say shift, because change is a scary word for some of us. So, what shift in your life are you longing for that and you know in your heart of hearts that if you really, really did the work with Young Living products, what shift are you looking for that you could do for yourself that would also be something that when you accomplish it, you could share with many others and shift their life with you?
That's such a good question. And I want to piggyback on that and say something about social media because it was asked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Social media just allows you to be around more people all at once. And that attraction marketing, if you can make your phone ring because people watch you lose 60 pounds, how much easier is it, do you think it is? How much easier is it, do you think, to close someone who calls you? So when you make a big life shift, oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
So any other questions? In Canada, it's still uncomfortable with masks and all. So casual conversations are not easy here now. I understand that. I do. So I'm looking around. Do I have a mask anywhere? I still made eye contact with people with it, on the 2 occasions that I would wear them. I would still make eye contact with people.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk on you. When we were majorly masked, you know what I did? I walked around and asked people if they would Zoom with me.
Nice.
And I cut out little cards that I would give out at the grocery store and say, "Are you lonely? Zoom with me." And people literally called and Zoomed with me.
That is genius.
Mm-hmm. It worked. We signed up like 200 people in a month. It was
I'm
great.
telling you what. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, I'm sharing it right here because it works, because people are lonely during this time. And if you make eye contact and you're sincere, like Lori taught us, and I mean, that was such great information. And you taught us so many tools to approach and to just form that relationship. If you hand them something special and you don't look scary, and you make a small conversation and then say, "Let's Zoom together sometime. I'm lonely too." Because it's true, right? When we're all masked up and we're not going anywhere, we're not having people over to our homes and all of that in these areas that are still in that realm. Ask people to Zoom with you. Give them your Zoom link.
That's beautiful.
That's all I'm going to say.
That is just beautiful.
You led me there. I forgot about it. Actually, it's been a while ago.
Where have you been all my life? Lori runs to make business cards and say, do you want to Zoom with me? Absolutely amazing. Oh, friends. Oh, friends, do you feel confident? Did it demystify it? Are you ready to go? You've got this. You've got this.
All I put on the card was my Instagram and my Zoom link. So they found me on Instagram so that I wasn't giving out my phone number to all these strangers. And they found me and they private messaged me on Instagram or Facebook. And then we set up Zoom. So tell me what's going on in your life during COVID. Tell me what's going on in, what's happening in your world. What are you into? I'm really into essential oils. What are all those back there? Oh, those are my essential oils. It just went that way. Yeah.
She's asking questions.
Just
questions. And I can see, can you see how she's really caring about these people?
Oh, yeah. And there were a few weirdos. I'm going to tell you, there were a few weirdos.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But they didn't go away. This isn't a scheme. This isn't.
No.
Listen, they don't even.
I caught on to the influencer that I work with, and then he started putting it out. Hey, just Zoom with us. Just Zoom with us. And we did education on Instagram and got on Zooms and did webinars and things. It branched out into that. But at first it was just, hey, we're lonely. Let's Zoom.
People don't even buy oils, friends. People buy you.
That's right. Mm-hmm. But with our money back guarantee that you talked about, that we both learned from Marcella, that was really cool, because I established some relationships with two people that were rather obese and wanted to lose weight. And when they got the oils, they were like, this isn't going to happen for me. And they returned it. And that's cool. I gave them that money back guarantee because they weren't going to do it. They weren't ready there, but we've continued a conversation. I don't care if they have product or not. They're in conversation about it. So, which led me to do emotional clearing work for weight loss. And they joined that for free. That's all they were ready for at that time. So I liked what you said about serving people. It's all about service. It's about truly being in a place of service.
Yes. At whatever place they are.
Yes. Meet
wherever
where
they are. That's where you serve.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Something's going on. Thank you all for coming. It was an honor. Thank you, Amanda, for putting all of this together and all the diligent effort that it takes to do this. I see you. You are inspiring. Thank you, Pam, for every time I'm around you, I'm even more grateful.
Friends forever, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.